morning was really us just drilling down again on this concept of what turns happen at what point in our movie. I came today with a nagging feeling that I'd had overnight that perhaps the reveal of the fact that we are working for the villains in this story, unbeknownst to us at the beginning, but knownst to us now, should happen towards the latter half of the movie. And Ben, I think rightly, has argued the fact that if that happens at between pages 80 and 90 of our story, that we will be missing out on opportunities to use that antagonistic force from perhaps the midpoint onwards, which is what he was arguing we should be doing. So I can hear it, and I just think there's still details to continue to work out and threads to pull and look at.
I think the other thing is, like, let's talk about what could be another all seems lost, or the fate of the world is on the line, or my dad gets shot moment. I mean, like, if the reveal that the angels are bad happens in the middle of the movie, well, we still need the obstacles to get harder and harder and harder, and we still need us to feel as though the goal is out of reach by the end of Act 2, so that we can go into Act 3 with even more stakes and a ticking clock and the feeling of, am I going to win or am I not going to win?
So, well, let's discuss that again. It's just part of working this through, because the goal, and this is something we discussed yesterday, the goal changes.
Yeah.
And what does success look like when the goal changes? I need to have a clear understanding and a clear feeling of, oh, I know that I've won. Now, in Terminator, I would say that the goal is, for the first part of the movie, getting you away from the Terminator, because the Terminator is trying to kill you. You have got to survive.
Yeah.
And then at another point, it becomes, we've got to kill the Terminator, especially in Terminator 2.
Yeah, I mean, in the first Terminator, I don't know that they even believe that they can kill the Terminator.
Right.
I actually think even when they're putting the bombs together, it would be my personal opinion that it's just as a defense mechanism, that the chase is still what is going on, because the Terminator then shows up at the motel and they're just back on the run again.
Yeah.
There's never okay, we're going to take the fight to them moment.
It's true, yeah. And I would say that I feel that is a fault with that movie, because I go, you're just going to go and live in a cabin in the woods somewhere. It doesn't feel like it has this final thing that I'm working towards. But you do get a nice finality when Sarah Connor finally kills the Terminator. But that never seems to be their plan. But in Terminator 2, I feel that Terminator 2 is a better movie because they're running, and then they go, no, there is something that we can do to stop this from happening. Mm-hmm. We need to go and get the whole thing with Cyberdyne and all that stuff. Yeah. We need to go and stop the future from happening. Boom. And so I guess what my question is what is the midnight run of part 1, but the Terminator 2 of the second half? Because we've just got to get you to survive. I don't think it just doesn't feel strong. There was at the beginning a very concrete goal. I'm going to get you here by Friday evening. And then it becomes, I've just got to keep you alive indefinitely in the future for you to prove that you're not the Antichrist. But is it that? How can we prove that you're not the or that you are good? Something like that. I need a concrete goal for 2.2.
Yeah, I guess I just go, I don't know that this movie lends itself to a Terminator 2. Okay, we're going to take the fight against we're going to flip the tables, and now we're going to take the fight against them, purely because of the way that we're structuring the the villains and the way in which all of this is happening, I go, well, what is it feels like almost suicide or something. Like I go like, oh, I just discovered that the Celestials are actually trying to kill her. Oh, and I also have all the demons that hate me after us. And oh, by the way, I also have the cops after us because I've now taken a hostage out of the country. But I'll just fight all them now. And
I
that's the
don't
way
think
that
it
we
has to be
fly.
fighting. Again, what's interesting about Terminator 2 is they don't go, let's go and defeat the T-1000. They go, that they actually play it smart. They go, what is the way that we can win?
But that is the
without...
way to defeat the T-1000, right? If they can stop Cyberdyne from ever
totally
existing,
but
the
they don't
T-1000
do it by going, let's get all the guns out and shoot the T-1000.
No, totally. But there's a way in which they can do that. So yeah, I'd be having to figure out, like, how do you defeat the angels? How do you defeat the demons?
But again, so let's just break it down. What are the demons after? What are the Celestials after? They are after the Antichrist. That is currently Sam. Is there a way? Again, I don't know. Is there a way to get rid of that curse? Is there a way to prove that this person is not that person? Is there a way to wash them in the pools of Bethesda in Israel to clean away that aspect of them? I don't know, but is there something that they can do to give me a concrete goal other than just, we've just got to get away? Because it just feels amorphous, and it feels a shame to have had a concrete goal in the first half of first half of the movie, and then we just have to survive. And survive until when? And survive until what? Until you're, I mean, ultimately it's to prove that you are not the Antichrist.
Anymore, right?
Say again?
I mean, it's until the bad guys can't find you anymore. What would you say? I mean, in Jason Bourne, that's basically what happens in the Bourne Identity.
It's been a minute since I've seen it.
I mean, in the Bourne Identity, in the first half of the movie, he's trying to figure out who he is. He has a very concrete goal. I have amnesia. I need to figure out who I am.
And then it's to defeat the people coming after him.
No,
so that he can escape and not be seen anymore. And
no,
kill
he goes on a
Clive
run.
after him.
What?
Well, he has that whole thing in the second half of the movie where he's been found, and it's, I've got to defeat the person who's found me so that I can escape away into nothing once more.
But that's
and it's defeating, and it's the defeating of Clive Owen.
But that's because he found. But you have
correct.
But what you're saying is exactly the opposite of what you're arguing for, which is Matt Damon's goal has not changed. He's confronted with an obstacle to that goal that he has to then overcome. His goal in the second half of the movie is, I need to just escape and get off the grid, which is ultimately what he does at the end of the movie. He wins because he ends up on a beach, right?
Right. Yes.
The obstacle to that is that Clive Owen finds them.
Right.
And then he has to kill Clive Owen in order to achieve what his goal was. At first, his goal is, I need to figure out who I am. Then I discover that who I am, not such a great person, don't really want to go back to that life, would really prefer to be left alone on a beach.
Yep. Yep.
He doesn't go against the CIA in that movie. He does
eventually, but in movie one, he doesn't. Yeah.
But in movie one, he doesn't take the fight to them. He just goes, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone. And
but here's the thing. While his goal is, sure, I want to disappear.
Right.
What is the obstacle to that in that particular case, as we're saying, is Clive Owen. Clive Owen has to be defeated in order for that to happen. So what is that in this movie?
Haven't we just been saying that it's now that we have both the Celestials and the demons that are coming for us? Isn't that the obstacle? Hasn't the obstacles just been...
And so what do I have to do to stop them from coming after us?
I mean, the same thing that I would have to do to stop them. I guess I'm confused by the question. Defeat them. I have to defeat them.
Great. So that's what we're going for. So in 2.2,
not that I'm going to go.
Goal then changes
to them. No, that's not.
Okay,
true.
so I'm confused.
Because Jason Bourne doesn't go and say, I have to. I'm going to search out Clive Owen and defeat him so that I can go and live on a beach.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Bourne says, "I'm going to go and we're going to stay at this little house off the beaten path." And then you tip him off by accident. And then he shows up, and now I have to kill him, even though that wasn't my plan. But I have to do it so that I can go and live.
Sure. So yeah, exactly. And it's just
what I'm
threading
saying it's if the goal for our heroes changes to become, I'm not going to deliver you anymore. We're going to go find a place where you're safe.
Mm-hmm.
Now my goal is to make you safe. But my obstacles have increased. I now have celestials and demons coming after me.
Mm-hmm.
And so the obstacles of getting you safe become having to defeat anyone that stands in my way.
So, is there something interesting? I'm getting kind of infused now a little bit with the Bourne identity. Bye, Thomas. Thanks so much for joining. Appreciate you. The 2.2 becomes, we got to get you away somewhere where they'll never find you, and we are potentially successful in that, even though we're establishing that they're out looking for us and that they're on our trail.
She calls her mom.
Calls her mom. Cabin in Big Bear, and an angel picks it up. Okay, honey. But do they do something smart whereby they go, there is no way that we could defeat a bunch of Celestials and a bunch of demons. But what do Celestials hate? They hate demons. What do demons hate? They hate Celestials. What if we let them both know that we're here and let battle commence, and that we use them to wipe out each other, and then in the midst of it, we come in and we defeat the bad guy who's just the strongest of them. Something fun like that. And I go, oh, that was smart.
Okay, that's quite fun. So then what I would say is you could get a really great twist if we as the audience don't know that that's entirely what they're doing.
Totally.
It would be cool. Don't know if it will work, but it would be really cool if all of a sudden we show up at a place whereby we think that we've been caught by one of these factions.
Right.
And then we discover that actually we've called the other faction.
And we've laid the trap.
We've laid the trap, but even the audience doesn't feel that at first. So that when let's say I'm using a bad example of a rock quarry, but we're in a rock quarry and the angels land in the rock quarry, and they're like, we found you, you stupid whatever. We're gonna give us the girl, and she's like, yeah, you know what, you did find me, but you're not the only ones. And then all of a sudden, all on the tops of the cliffs, the demons all show up, and they're like, cool. What the hell did you do? Yeah. And we get a fucking demon celestial battle in this rock quarry, and we somehow escape into the mine. Or some shit like that.
Sure.
It's big. I will say that the one problem with it is that it's big. So the budget of the movie just doubles.
Unless you just bring it all down. And if you were to say you've got Gabriel and his two buddies,
right?
And you've got Bahamut and his two buddies. They could even be singular antagonists if we wanted to just keep it small.
Yes, you could.
It doesn't have to be the army of angels and demons.
You're right. Yes.
If we wanted it to be.
We absolutely could.
Yeah. And then the one guy, the one policeman in the middle of it, what the hell's going on? Just shows up.
I mean, that actually would be really funny too if they've been tracking them and they didn't even know the cops had been tracking them, and then the cops show up and they're like, holy shit.
And she's like, yeah, exactly.
And then holy shit. Maybe the cop helps them get out of there.
Right. That's the name of the movie. Fun. Holy shit.
Holy shit. So I mean, that's an interesting that's a really interesting set piece. I guess my question though is that Act 3, is that an Act 3 climax? It doesn't feel like a climax. So where is that? Is that 2.2 and then something goes wrong?
I feel like it could be a climax. Ultimately, it's how do we win?
But I don't want how do we win is great, but you don't want Sam and Charlize running or using someone else to do their successful work. You could start that way, but
yes, I think that's what I said earlier. Is it? I think you start that way, and at the again, if there were 5 angels versus 5 demons, at the end it would only be Gabriel left standing. And you're like, and he's coming, and you're like, ah, shit, and she's got to go up against him, and you're like, you get
you just
get the thing that you've always wanted.
Fight at the end, basically.
Yeah.
So, is there a way though to? It's complex. We'd have to think about a way in which to, if it's going to be Act 3, how do we legitimately feel like we've failed? And then twist it so that actually this failure was what we wanted to happen all along. We wanted to fail because we knew this was going to happen.
Is it, oh no, they found us. Oh no, that's bad. Well, what if we could turn they found us into something good, but we don't tell the audience what that is?
Right. The other thing is
plan.
Yeah. I mean, we had talked about at one point, I think I had suggested, like, does she go to whomever this other demon is and make a bargain to work with them or help them? Is there a way to potentially, without seeing it, have that kind of happen off screen?
Yeah.
Is there if Sam were captured, let's say, at the end of Act 2, and that our demon knows where they're going, because it's the one holy spot where this sacrifice can happen.
And she was told to bring her to this place potentially.
Right, so she knows.
She knows, yeah.
And the only way that she's going to be able to go up against them is by literally the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Mm-hmm. She goes to the demons and says, I know where she is.
So she needs to, yes. And what does she say to said demons to get them to agree to do it? They have their own want and desire.
It's got to be a double cross on both sides. It does,
doesn't it? It does. Like, I'll deliver her to you. And again, like, as a demon, might I believe her? You know? Oh yeah, you are a demon after all.
Right. You know? I realize I've lost and I'm going to pick the winning side or something like that. You know?
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really interesting. I don't know. I still don't know what exactly the details are that string it all together. But I think that the double cross set piece with both angels and demons there at the end definitely feels like an Act 3 set piece. And I agree. You just whittle it down so that the demons and the angels have basically taken each other out to the point where it's now Charlize and the angel.
Yeah.
And they are duking it out for the
life of Sam. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's great. Like, I'm seeing, again, if it's wherever we are, Mount Sinai. And it's all kicking off, and in the middle of it, Charlize Theron gets to Millie Bobby Brown, and grabs her and pulls her out, and it's all going off in the background. And then at the end of it, Gabriel's just left standing, and he's just like, demon, and it's like he's coming, and it's the Terminator coming for Sarah.
Right.
At least in that final moment.
Yeah, I mean, the question though, maybe this was just like off the cuff, but I want to clarify something.
Yeah.
Do you see Sam as young as a Millie Bobby?
No, it was just
okay. All right, I just want to make sure that we're clear on who our
protagonists just popped into my brain is because she's 18 now, but I don't think Sam's 18. I think she's probably in her mid-20s.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, she's Haley Steinfeld.
She's Haley Steinfeld. Totally. I'll give her a call. Hello, Haley.
Give Haley a call. Yeah. It's Haley and Charlize team up.
Haley and Charlize is a great It's a great combo. I totally see Haley Steinfeld and Charlize Theron. Comments, if you're watching this, who do you see as being a cool kick-ass demon?
What do you think?
And who makes a good, yeah. And it's interesting, as we've been talking about it, I actually am seeing two women being in this.
Yeah.
I see Gabriel as male, and I see both
Sam
and Sam and Demon.
Haley and Charlize.
As
right?
Haley
that keeps kind of popping into my head too. I actually really that's where I'm at. There's and I think it'd be good to kind of
see, sometimes we agree.
At least sometimes. Yeah, no, I mean, look, this is the process. And that's the point. But
absolutely. Yeah.
You know, I think that as we're talking through this, the structural aspects of basically what we're saying is the Act 2 main turning point will be the betrayal. And I do think the betrayal gives us a set piece of some kind.
Oh, I do too. Absolutely. Yeah.
Fun, right?
Completely.
So we get our middle of the movie set piece.
Yes.
The betrayal then leads to us on the run again, but maybe in a different way where we're actually hiding out.
Sure.
But maybe there is a version where Sam says, and maybe this is part of her growth. Maybe Sam says, I can't run the rest of my life.
Totally.
Do this.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of life is that? I've never had any control, and now you're telling me that I literally have no control.
And they're always being
controlled by them. And so maybe her taking control of her life, and we think she's gone off half-cocked and gone and given herself over to the angels or to the demons or whomever. Mm-hmm. But actually her and Charlize have decided they're going to use her as bait.
Yeah, great.
We just haven't seen that off screen.
Right, I think that's really cool. Let's open up our document and let's get this. Let's get this down.
Let's also, as I'm opening up the document, Jake, let our viewers know where we're at, because I think this is a good point to split into new episodes.
Sounds good. All right. So